Apologies for the delay, everyone. I don't like where this is going. Some of your theories are pretty wild, well done, and I don't know how much of it I even want to document going forward. The support is appreciated. I fell asleep in my car. Thursday night after my first post, I was pretty shaken up. When I woke up Friday morning yesterday, I had dozens of missed calls and texts. A vast majority of them were from Stacy, and she was not happy. She saw me asleep in my car in the morning when she left to take the kids to school. She thought I was drunk from the reunion and fell asleep in the car. I feel like I really dodged a bullet there, as it bought me a little more time to think clearly before addressing this head-on. I know a lot of you recommended I bring it to light immediately, but I need to investigate and come up with a game plan. There was one text in particular that caught my attention. It was from a number I didn't recognize. 9 tykes, sex, kex, why did you run off so fast last night? There's something I need to talk to you about and it's important. Can we talk? I didn't respond. I'm feeling like I need to be very careful with what I do next. Anyway, I got my shit together and went to work yesterday, but obviously got nothing done. The only reason I actually went is because I thought the normalcy would help to preserve my sanity throughout the shitstorm I was about to endure. I called a couple of my friends that were at the reunion. There aren't many that I'm actually friends with. I nonchalantly asked if they saw Stacy, being careful not to specify which Stacy. Nobody saw her. They asked if we were having issues at home and why I wouldn't have known if my wife was there, who was watching the kids, etc. So, that was no help. As kind of an aside, it sounds like there was a bit of commotion at the reunion around somebody that showed up that wasn't on the original guest list. In fact, her name wasn't listed in the yearbook either when they checked. Her name was Beth. FYI, I switched this name too for anonymity. She insisted that she had graduated with our class, so they let her in and didn't put up too much of a fight, especially because so few people from our class actually showed up. Doesn't sound like she hung around long though. The calls and texts continued to roll in from my wife, Stacy, throughout the day, and I ignored them. I realized I had 3 options. A. Bail. This would mean leaving my kids behind. Obviously not really an option at all, as I don't think there is such a thing as life for me without my kids. B. Confront her in some way. Share what I'm going through and explain everything. C. Play it all off until I can gather more info to make a solid decision. I'm going with C. If I don't rock the boat, I'll be able to coast a little longer without any permanent impact on my life. That is, unless my wife has knowledge beyond what I know, or has plans to kill me. If she's logical in any way still, I don't think this is a real threat. If it is, then I have to give her kudos, because she has moved mountains and stars have aligned to pull this thing off. Since I'm rolling with the path of least resistance, I decided it would be best to go with the story that she already believed to be true. This would mean telling her that I drank too much at the reunion. One drink led to several. I drove home like an asshole, and I fell asleep in my car. We all know that this is not what happened, and I don't condone drinking and driving, but it seemed like it was easier to go with this than it would be to make up another story and sell her on it. When I got home, she had dinner ready like she normally does. She and I spoke briefly about everything in private, and I confirmed what happened the night before. Why I was in the car. She was disappointed. I pretended to be ashamed and embarrassed. All was okay-ish. When we sat down for dinner with the kids, she asked me a little more about the actual reunion. I played it cool and told the story exactly as it happened. Everything up until the piece where Stacy tapped me on the shoulder at the reunion. It'll be much easier to keep all of this straight if I keep it as close to the truth as possible. I have no idea what she knows. I have no idea if there are others involved or what. So I want to minimize the opportunities for getting caught in a lie. I'm getting the impression that she doesn't really think anything is up. I'm pretty good at staying cool under pressure. However, I am a bit nervous. Based on her responses and body language, I suspect that she probably wrote it off in her own mind as a result of the drinking and driving incident, i.e., me feeling ashamed, embarrassed. This is good. Things are kind of coasting along and it feels like I can ride this out and keep digging as long as I'm careful. I went to bed shortly after dinner. I obviously didn't sleep well in the car and things were still a bit hazy, so I felt like this was best. This brings us to today. So I woke up this morning and felt pretty good about everything. I feel normal. If I wanted, I could legitimately pretend like I never saw Stacy at the reunion, and I think life would continue on as it did beforehand. At least that's the vibe I'm getting from everyone around me. Nobody close to me is really asking weird questions. That said, I'm going to dig because I want to know more. I went ahead and finally responded to that text this morning, 6:19 exacts. Why did you run off so fast last night? There's something I need to talk to you about, and it's important. Can we talk? Me. Hey, what do you mean? Who is this? I figured it would be better to play dumb and fish for information before divulging anything that could be potentially damaging to my situation. I'm still waiting on the reply now. I have no idea what happens from here. If they don't respond, maybe I just go back to living life the way I was and forget any of this ever happened.